Welcome to another video of MCQ. This time it features a game played by Grandmaster Vaibhav Suri. And before I begin, I would like to tell you how to make use of this video. I would suggest that you have a physical chess set next to you so that you can make the move and get a tournament kind of experience. And keep a notebook to write down your move, because once you write down the move, it is for certain that you have decided to play it and you won't change it. And set 2 to 5 minutes depending on how important that position is according to you, and then decide your time accordingly. There will be 12 questions in this video. Each question will carry 2 marks, so if you get the right move you get 2, so you have 24 points to go at. And it's important that you draw some conclusions based on the moves that you've played, and treat yourself to something if you manage to get all the answers right. Have fun. With that, let's begin. So this is a game between Vaibhav Suri and Zhu Yi, and this happened in 2019. Grandmaster Vaibhav Suri is from Delhi, and he played e45, knight f3, knight f6. This is a Petrov defense, and here he played knight takes e5, d6, knight f3, knight takes e4, knight c3. One of the popular lines against the Petrov: knight c3, dc3, bishop e7, bishop e3 castles, queen d2, knight d7, triple o, knight f6. All this is quite standard. White develops a bishop to d3, c5, white goes h4, bishop e6, h5, queen a5, and a3. In this position, black played c4, and here comes your first question. I would like to keep it slightly easy to begin with. Would you like to play your bishop to e2, or would you like to drop it back to f1? Okay. I hope you have made a decision on this, and I'm going to reveal the move that was played in the game. Bishop e2 is the right move. Bishop f1 is not the best because black has knight e4, and then you're supposed to move your queen again, let's say to d4, and then black has d5. Now having this bishop on e2 ensures that your rooks are connected, but putting it back to f1 somehow disrupts your coordination. So no points for bishop f1, but 2 points if you got bishop e2 correct. And after bishop e2, black went knight e4. Again, a very simple question: where would you like to move your queen? Would you like to play queen to e1 to then go to g1 and h2 to attack on the king side, or would you like to place your queen on d4, attacking the knight on e4? Okay, I hope you have made the decision. I'm going to reveal the move now. In this game, white did not play queen e1, and if you chose queen e1, I'm sorry, you're not going to get the point, because after queen e1, black has d5, and he has some immediate threats. For example, bishop into a3 is one of them. So it's important that you keep your attack going with queen d4 and keep black busy, because there is something hidden. After queen d4, if black plays d5, he has some important move prepared. I will come to that now. So 2 points if you got queen d4 right, and here black played d5, supporting the knight and also opening this bishop for any bishop into a3 kind of ideas. And in this position, do you want to play bishop into c4, so that if black takes this bishop, you have the knight? That's your first option. Do you want to play rook d g1, intending to go g4 and also making square for the king to go to d1 if necessary? Do you want to play pawn to h6 in this position to threaten mate on g7? Or do you want to play something else? That's your question. Okay, in this position, if you chose bishop into c4, that's a mistake, because black has bishop f6, and after queen d3, he has knight into c3. And black is completely enjoying this position. So not bishop into c4. Then if you play rook d g1 in this position, black can play bishop c5, or also play bishop into a3, and he still stands better, because if you take b takes a3, he will play queen a3, and then if you play king d1, he'll play queen a1 check, bishop c1, and in this position already he's on top. He can even offer to play a move like h6, and that's completely in black's flavor. So in this position, the correct move is h6, threatening to capture on g7. This is the mating idea, and black has to do something about it. He cannot play bishop into a3 because the mate is threatened. So in this position, after h6, black went with bishop f6. And here's your next question: The queen is attacked. Do you want to play knight e5 to interpose the knight, or do you want to play h into g7, sacrificing your queen? Okay, in this position, if you chose knight e5, I'm sorry, that's not the best move, because after knight e5, black can simply play queen c7, keep the attack going on the knight. But if you played edge into g7, congratulations, that's the way to keep the initiative going, and that was played by Grandmaster Vaibhav Suri. So after edge g7, if you then take bishop g7, the king's position is already shaken. Now you can play knight e5, and after queen c7, you can follow it up with maybe bishop f4, and white has a very nice position based on the fact that the black's king is slightly exposed. Now in this position, after edge g7, his opponent took bishop into d4, and here white took gf8, queens, and then after rook f8 you have options. Do you want to take the bishop with the bishop? Do you want to take it with the knight? Do you want to take it with the pawn, or do you want to take it with the rook? So you have a wide range of options. If you chose a knight takes d4, congratulations, that's the best move in the position. The main point is that it keeps the bishop intact. I mean, you can't play f6 and bishop f7, and this bishop, if it moves to d7, then this d5 pawn starts to feel weak. So knight d4 is important. If you chose rook d4, black has f6, and it gives him some extra options. If you decided to take the bishop with the bishop, then I'm sorry, it's not the best, because it will also allow black to put bishop to f5. Whereas if the knight were on d4, black would not be able to do that, and then bishop will come to g6, and black can hope for consolidating this position. So even cd4 is not the best in this position, because black has even c3. It invites unnecessary counterplay, and then the game changes completely in black's favor. So after rook takes f8, knight d4 is the best move. Black played knight takes c3. In this position, do you want to play bc3 and just take the knight, or do you want to play bishop d2 to pin the knight, or do you want to play something else? Okay, I'm going to reveal the best move. Best move is the obvious choice, bc3. You should not be scared and play bishop d2, because white has enough resources to run with his king. Bishop d2 is just playing in black's it's going into black's idea, because knight takes e2 and he simply won a pawn. In this position, you should play bc3. That is the best move. And after queen c3, you have options again. Do you want to play knight b5 to attack the queen? Do you want to play rook dg1 to make space for the king to run to d1? Or do you want to play rook h5 to keep an eye on the pawn on d5 and also threaten a possible check in the future? Okay, if you've decided to go rook h5, congratulations, that is the best move in the position, because it invites it poses a lot of threats. But if you chose knight b5, I would say that it is the second best move in the position. After queen a5, you will have to again come back with knight d4. You lose a move, so it's not the best move in the position. And if you chose rook dg1 here, it is also not the best, because queen into a3, and after king d2, black has enough counterplay. He can play queen a5 check, and black is not in danger anymore, because if you play a move like c3, he has queen a2 check, and you're forced to play knight to c2, then there is bishop f5. So considering all that, rook h5 is very important, also preventing any kind of bishop f5 in the future. Queen takes a3 check happened, king d2, queen b4 check happened, and then after c3, queen b2 check. He had seen something more. Here it's not knight c2, because after knight c2, black has f6 idea, bishop f7, bishop g6. He actually decided to give up that pawn and play king e1, which is the best move. So in this position, if you decided to go knight c2, no points, but king e1 is the correct move. And after king e1, rook e8, he went king f1, and then a5, bishop c1, queen takes c3, rook g5 check, king h8. Again, you have some options here. Do you want to play bishop f4 to threaten mate on e5? Do you want to play rook g3 to attack the queen? Do you want to capture this bishop so that you eliminate the opponent's bishop, or do you want to play something else? In this position, if you chose bishop f4, it is let's say the third best move in the position. Black has bishop d7, preventing bishop e5, because then if you play bishop e5, he's ready to take rook takes e5, rook takes e5, and play bishop a4. Then your knight is also in danger. So if you chose knight takes e6, even that is not the best move because black will simply play rook takes e6, and the rook, which was doing nothing much, is now suddenly keeping an eye on your bishop. So the correct move is to attack the opponent's queen with rook g3 and keep the initiative going. After queen b4, white has again got many options. Do you want to play bishop d2 to attack the queen? Do you want to play bishop g5 to do the same kind of mating threat like I mentioned before? Or do you want to capture this bishop on e6? In this position, capturing on e6 doesn't make sense because your knight is much stronger, and black will be very happy to part with that bishop. So if you chose bishop d2, I would say that's the second best move in the position. But bishop g5 is the best move because it is threatening mate in 1 with bishop f6. And here after bishop g5, black played h5, then bishop f6 check, king s7, rook g7 check, king s6. Again, a good moment to ask yourself what you would like to do as white. Do you want to play bishop into h5 to just chop off that only remaining pawn on the king's cover, or do you want to play pawn to g4 to threaten mate in 1 with g5, or do you want to play something else? In this position, bishop h5 is also winning, but g4 is more immediate because it is threatening mate in 1. The idea is that if black plays hg4, he has a strong mating threat in mind. So do you want to play bishop into g4 to capture the pawn, or do you want to play king g2 to make space for a mating attack? In this position, if you chose bishop into g4, you are still winning, but it's not immediate mate. So king g2 is threatening a mate directly, and that is the best move. So that happened in the game. Grandmaster Vaibhav Suri played king g2, and after queen a3, he took bishop into g4, so that rook h1 is coming. Because rook h1, there was queen h3 coming, so he just eliminated even that possibility with bishop into g4, and after bishop g4, rook g4, there is a mate in 1. So I thought that was a very nice, instructive game by Grandmaster Vaibhav Suri, and it was a good choice I felt for our MCQ series. I hope you liked the video and you learned something in this interactive training game. And I'll be back with another video soon. Until then, take care. Bye bye.